Now last year we said they not like us, and guess what? They still not like us. Mustard! Drop it!
Listen, if you weren't watching the game last night, you missed a moment so wild, so unexpected, so downright chaotic that social media is still trying to recover. Because let me tell you, Los Angeles has seen drama before, but nothing like what went down when the entire LA Dodgers stadium basically teamed up to troll Drake. Yes, Drake. The man who can't even post a selfie without breaking the internet got clowned live in front of 50,000 people, celebrities, cameras, and a crowd that was way too ready for smoke. Now picture this. The lights dim, the Jumbotron flickers, the camera pans to Drake in his box seat, fresh OVO jacket, iced out chain glistening, and before anybody can even blink, the Dodgers Stadium DJ drops something that has never been played in a major league ballpark before. I'm talking a track that had fans clutching their chests, screaming, laughing, and recording like their lives depended on it. And the second that beat hit, the entire stadium erupted. People were standing, pointing, waving, crying from laughter. Even the Dodgers players on the field were looking up like, ain't no way they really did that. And Drake? Man, the look on his face told a whole story by itself. Confusion, embarrassment, that little half smile he does when he's trying to play it cool, but the pain is clear behind the eyes. And as if things weren't messy enough, the camera zoomed in again. Then again, like the stadium crew was trying to start a full-blown war. Fans are shocked, Twitter is in shambles, and the internet is already calling this the most disrespectful sports moment of the year. But trust me, what you think happened is nothing compared to the real chaos behind the scenes. Because this wasn't an accident. This wasn't a coincidence. This was personal. And tonight, we're getting into all of it. The moment that Jumbotron flashed Drake's face for the first time, people already sensed something was off. It wasn't just a normal celebrity cameo where the crowd cheers, he waves, camera cuts, and everyone goes back to their nachos. No, this felt intentional. There was this weird pause, like the stadium crew was waiting for something, like they knew a secret the rest of us didn't. Even the energy in the air shifted. Fans were nudging each other, whispering, pointing up toward Drake's suite like, why they holding on him so long? And that was before anything even started. But let's rewind a little. Because the madness didn't just begin out of nowhere. Earlier that day, rumors were already swirling backstage at Dodger Stadium. Staffers were whispering about Drake and a certain Dodgers player having some kind of tension, something to do with a party, some lyrics, a DM situation, and a misunderstanding that had blown up way bigger than anyone expected. People were saying Drake was moving with that subtle shade energy, dropping hints on Instagram stories, liking suspicious posts, unfollowing certain Dodger wives. You know, classic Drake behavior when he feels misunderstood, and word spread quick. By the time Drake showed up at the stadium in that silky OVO jacket, the players already knew something was brewing. One of the Dodgers, who we're gonna call Jay, because if I say the real name, we're gonna have MLB legal in the comments, was supposedly pacing in the locker room earlier that day, talking about, man, I'm tired of dude. He think he runs LA. Another player allegedly replied, bro, y'all better chill. That's Drake. You start something with him, he gonna put you in a song. But the thing is, Jay wanted that. He wanted the smoke. He wanted to embarrass Drake before Drake had a chance to embarrass him. And he had help. Because rumor has it, And this is coming from someone who works close to the Dodgers media team, that the stadium DJ was already planning something spicy, something petty, something that had been on standby ever since Drake made that little "LA is mine too" comment last summer. These dudes were waiting for the moment Drake stepped foot in their stadium again, and last night, the stars aligned. But Drake didn't know any of this. He thought he was just showing up to enjoy a game, look mysterious on camera, smile when the crowd cheered, maybe create a few new memes. He had no idea he walked right into the pettiest trap of 2025. So when the Jumbotron focused on him slow, dramatic, with that overzoom that felt like a TV villain entrance, Drake leaned back in his seat like he knew something was funny, but didn't know what yet. He even gave that half grin, that, "Yeah, y'all see me" grin. Fans started cheering at first. Normal stuff, nothing wild. But then it happened. The stadium DJ dropped the one song everyone knew Drake hated being associated with. The track that leaked last year, the one Drake never acknowledged because the internet still drags him about it. The one that sounded a little too emotional, too soft, too crying in the shower at 2 a.m. And bro, the second that first note hit, the entire stadium lost it. People stood up so fast you would have thought someone announced free tacos for everyone. Whole sections were waving their arms, pointing at Drake's suite like, "Hey, they playing your song." Even the opposing team looked confused like, "This some LA thing? We don't do this in our city." Drake's smile immediately faded. His shoulders stiffened. He leaned forward like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. He looked at his team, his friends, his security, like someone needed to explain this now. One dude sitting next to him tried to cover his mouth, hiding the fact that he was trying not to laugh. And that made Drake even more tense. Then the Jumbotron zoomed in again. Fans screamed louder. People were recording like their phones were extensions of their hands. The stadium DJ, messy as ever, turned the volume up, full blast. No mercy. Drake mouthed something. Cameras caught it. People online are still debating what he said. Some lip readers are claiming he said, "Turn that off." Others say he mumbled, "This why I don't like coming here." But the wildest theory? Some fans swear Drake looked dead into the camera and said, "Bet." And that's when the Dodgers players started chiming in. From the field, a couple of them began bobbing their heads exaggeratedly, like mocking the song on purpose. Jay even pointed up towards Drake's suite, smirking, leaning into the drama he helped create. Meanwhile, the crowd kept chanting the hook of the leaked track like they were at a concert, but not a supportive one. This was pure trolling energy. People in Drake's suite were whispering, pulling out phones, trying to act casual but clearly panicking inside. One of Drake's security guards even stepped back like he wasn't trying to be seen on camera during this humiliation. And then, because things weren't chaotic enough, the stadium started playing the remix. Yes, someone actually remixed the song. That means this wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't accidental. This was planned, rehearsed, approved by someone with power, someone who wanted Drake to feel it. The crowd's laughter shook the entire arena. Even fans who liked Drake couldn't hold it in. TikTokers in the stands were already rehearsing their reactions, crafting captions, imagining how many views they'd get before the night was over. Meanwhile, Drake sat there frozen, trying to keep his cool but clearly internally combusting. His expression? A mix of disbelief, disappointment, hurt pride, and that silent, "Just wait till I get home and write about this" rage. Then the real twist hit, because as the camera zoomed out, another camera angle appeared. A live shot of the Dodgers dugout where Jay was pretending to wipe tears from his eyes, like he was crying along with the song. The crowd roared. Even some players on the bench covered their faces trying not to laugh. This wasn't just trolling anymore. This was a full-blown public roast session. And the wildest part? Someone from Drake's team tried to get the stadium's attention, signaling for them to cut the audio, but the staff ignored it. Straight disrespect, straight pettiness, straight LA energy. Drake finally stood up, adjusted his jacket, gave this cold, tight-lipped smirk, and sat back down like he was plotting. Like this wasn't over. Like the Dodgers might have just made the biggest mistake of their season. Because Drake doesn't forget, and he definitely doesn't forgive. But what nobody knew yet was that the real drama was happening behind the scenes, in the tunnels under the stadium, where Drake's team and Dodgers staff were already arguing, already pointing fingers, already preparing for the mess to go public. And trust me, that drama was way bigger than anything that played on the Jumbotron. While the stadium was still buzzing, fans laughing, players smirking, the leaked track echoing through Dodger Stadium like a national anthem of pettiness, down below, the real fire had already started burning. Because the moment Drake stood up in that suite, his team moved fast. 2 managers, 1 PR guy, and 1 dude who looked like he only exists to whisper things in Drake's ear rushed toward the private elevators. And that was when a Dodgers staff member stepped forward and blocked them. "Sir, you need authorization to go down to—" "Bro, move," Drake's manager snapped, waving his hand like the conversation was already over. "We're not asking." The staff member stiffened, trying to keep it professional. "Sir, I can't let you enter the tunnels without—" But the elevator doors opened, and Drake himself stepped inside. He didn't look angry. No, angry Drake is easy to read. This Drake looked calculated. He had that expression like he was filing every single insult, every laugh, every camera angle into a vault in his mind, labeled revenge. The staffer froze, the door closed, and Drake and his crew descended into the underbelly of the stadium. Meanwhile, upstairs, the Dodgers players were still in full troll mode. Jay looked like he was having the time of his life. He threw his arm around a teammate, pointed toward Drake's box, and said loud enough for fans near the dugout to hear, "Hey, someone check on bro. He okay? He need a hug?" The teammate laughed too hard, too dramatically, the kind of laugh that's meant to be seen. That's when the cameras caught it, blasted it onto the Jumbotron again, and the crowd exploded all over again. Fans were crying, laughing. People were chanting Drake's name sarcastically. Even the commentators couldn't hide their reactions. One whispered, "Still live on Mike. Oh, he not gonna like that." Down in the tunnels, though, a whole different vibe. A Dodgers security supervisor stepped forward the moment Drake walked into the hallway. "Sir, if you're upset about the music, please let us handle it. Going to the media control room is not—" "Who said we going to the control room?" Drake said, voice calm, almost too calm. The guard blinked. "Sir, you asked where?" "We're just walking," Drake replied, brushing past him. But the stadium hallways were a maze. Thick concrete walls, carts of equipment, workers rushing between tasks. And in the middle of all that movement, Drake's team bumped into someone they didn't expect. Jay's brother. Not officially on staff, not officially supposed to be in the restricted zone, but everyone knew he floated around the team like VIP family. He stopped mid-step when he saw Drake's crew. Drake's manager squared up immediately. "Oh, this what y'all do? This how y'all treat guests now?" Jay's brother scoffed. "Man, don't start with that. It ain't that serious." "Not serious?" Drake's PR director shot back. "The whole stadium is clowning him." Jay's brother shrugged. "That's between him and Jay, not us. And if he didn't want to get clowned, maybe he shouldn't have—" Drake stepped forward, eyes locked on him. The hall fell silent. "Finish that sentence," Drake said quietly. The brother swallowed, looked around, looked back, and suddenly found an excuse to be somewhere else. "Man, I ain't got time for this," he muttered, walking off. Drake's team stared after him like they were memorizing every detail for later. But here's where the plot gets even messier. Because while Drake was storming the underground tunnels, the Dodgers media team was having a meltdown upstairs. Not because they felt bad for Drake, but because the video of the troll moment had already hit Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and 3 random fan pages that somehow always break news before real journalists. One intern ran into the control room yelling, "Yo, we're trending, #1, like globally." The head media exec snapped her fingers. Trending with what? Good or bad? The intern hesitated. Hashtags include Dodgers petty, Drake got cooked, Crybaby Drake, Ovo humbling, and Lawan tonight. The exec slammed her headset onto the counter. "Great, we're dead." Suddenly, everyone was scrambling, deleting clips, trying to slow down reposts, attempting to hold back a storm that had already swallowed the internet whole. It was too late. The memes were out there, the edits, the slowed plus reverb versions, the remixes. People were already arguing whether Drake deserved it or if the Dodgers went too far. And in Drake's suite, his friends were checking their phones nonstop. "Yo, bro, this is everywhere. They got you on ESPN already. Now, look at this TikTok. This dude said you look like your soul left your body." Drake didn't respond. He kept his eyes on the field, on Jay, on the dugout, watching every smirk, every laugh, every over-the-top celebration. Then came the next twist. The Dodgers mascot, who absolutely did not need to participate, ran onto the field during a timeout, holding a giant cardboard cutout of Drake's crying face. The same meme face from 2016, the crowd erupted again. Drake exhaled sharply. Someone in his suite whispered, "They really trying to play you tonight." But Drake didn't reply. He just stood up, and the entire stadium felt it. Phones rose instantly. Cameras zoomed. The tension was thick enough to slice through. Drake walked to the front of his suite, placed both hands on the glass, and stared down at the field below, like a villain in a movie. Fans noticed, players noticed, Jay noticed, and Jay waved. The crowd screamed. Drake's jaw tightened. He turned away from the window, grabbed his jacket, and left the suite again, this time with more purpose. "Where he going?" one fan shouted. "Yo, he about to fight," someone else yelled. Rumors spread through the seats like wildfire. People were texting, tweeting, whispering. Half the stadium thought Drake was going to confront Jay on the field. The other half thought he was leaving to avoid snapping. Neither of those things happened. Instead, Drake made his way to the press corridor, a place he was definitely not supposed to be, without clearance. Security tried to intercept. Drake brushed them off. One guard radioed, "We have a situation." And that was when Jay's coach appeared. He held out a hand, blocking Drake from going any farther. "Drake," he said calmly, "let's not make this bigger than it is." Drake stared at him, silent, ice cold. The coach continued, "You're a guest here. We want you here. But your issue is with Jay, not the team, not the stadium. You handle that privately." Drake finally spoke, voice low. "He wanted attention. I promise you, he's gonna get it." The coach tensed. "Don't make threats in my stadium." Drake leaned in slightly. "I'm not making a threat. I'm making a promise." And with that, he turned and walked away, leaving the coach standing there, stunned. But as wild as that was, the night wasn't even close to being over. Because as Drake returned to his suite, Jay's wife posted something on Instagram that added a whole new layer to the drama. And that post was the spark that lit the real explosive twist that was about to shake the internet even harder than the stadium troll ever did. Jay's wife had been sitting in the VIP section the whole night, sipping her drink, watching the chaos unfold with this little smirk that said she knew something. And the moment the stadium played that crying remix of Drake's leaked track, she pulled out her phone, tilted her head, and typed out a caption that would send the entire internet into cardiac arrest. She snapped a pic of the Jumbotron, Drake's face frozen mid-cringe, and posted it on Instagram with the caption, "He should have kept his DMs to himself." No emojis, no tags, no explanations, just that. Within minutes, it blew up. Screenshots everywhere, fans screaming, gossip pages losing their minds. Even players' wives were texting each other like, "Girl, what did she mean by that?" In Drake's suite, one of his boys saw the post first. "Oh no, 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 no. Bro, look at this." He shoved the phone in Drake's face. Drake stared at the screen, expression unreadable. Then he blinked slowly, leaned back in the chair, and whispered, "She didn't just do that?" His PR guy looked like he was about to faint. "We need to leave, like right now, before this turns into something you can't control." But Drake wasn't listening. His eyes were glued to that caption like it was the final boss in a video game. Because that one sentence, just 7 words, implied something dangerous, something career-ending, something marriage-destroying, something that could make ESPN, Shade Room, People Magazine, and TMZ explode simultaneously. Drake took a deep breath and finally said, "I wasn't even the one who messaged her. It was a joke between everyone at that dinner." His friend whispered, "Doesn't matter, the world not gonna see it as a joke." And they were right. The online comments were already tearing Drake apart. Drake DMing players' wives is wild behavior. This man flirting with MLB wives now? Jay had every right to troll him. OVO stands for Other People's Vows, apparently. The stadium was loud, but inside Drake's suite, it was dead silent. Down on the field, the Dodgers players started checking their phones too, and the moment Jay saw his wife's post, he whipped his head toward the stands with a face that screamed, "Woman, what did you just do?" He stomped over to the dugout bench, waving his phone, yelling at the air. His teammates crowded around. "What she post? Bro, she ain't tag him. Did he actually message her?" "Yo, this is about to get messy." Jay was pacing like a man trying to figure out how to put toothpaste back in the tube. Nah, he muttered. "We agreed we ain't bring that up. She playing too much tonight." One teammate grabbed his shoulder. "You started it, bro." Jay glared. "I didn't start nothing. Another teammate cut in, laughing. "Nah, you definitely started this. You triggered a certified lover boy meltdown." Jay shoved him off, frustrated. But there was no fixing it now. The internet was deep in conspiracy mode, and once the internet locks onto a narrative, it's like trying to fight a tornado with a broom. Meanwhile, back in the VIP section, Jay's wife refreshed her feed. Her eyes widened as she saw the chaos she caused. But instead of deleting the post, she doubled down. She posted a story, a black screen, white text, no hesitation. "Y'all don't know half of it. Bro, the stadium could have lost power, and the drama would have still had enough energy to run the scoreboard." Fans near her screamed, "Oh my good!" Phones popped up like fireworks. Back in Drake's suite, his whole team snapped their heads up when they saw the story. One guy actually slapped his own forehead like he couldn't handle the stupidity anymore. "We gotta go," the PR guy said. "I'm begging you. If we leave now, we can still spin this." Drake exhaled, shaking his head. "She lying for attention. She knows she lying, And Jay knows it too. Another friend leaned forward. Then you need to say something. No, Drake said, eyes cold. Not yet. He stood, grabbed his jacket, and walked back out toward the corridor. But this time, the reporters had gathered. Cameras, mics, paparazzi, stadium workers with phones. Everyone waiting for him to slip, shout, react. They smelled blood, and Drake walking toward them was like a shark wading into a pool party. One reporter yelled, "Drake, did you DM Jay's wife?" Another shouted, "Is that why the Dodgers trolled you? Are you leaving the stadium early because you're embarrassed? Do you plan to respond publicly?" Drake didn't flinch. He didn't break stride. He didn't even blink. He gave one answer. No comment. But the tone, the look in his eyes, that wasn't no comment. That was, wait till I drop the track. While that storm brewed inside the tunnels, chaos erupted in the stands again because Jay finally got to his wife's section, and he looked pissed. He waved to security, ordered them to bring him up. They escorted him to the VIP row where his wife was sitting, face glowing from the screen light of her phone. She looked up like nothing was wrong. Jay leaned down, whisper yelling, "Why would you post that?" She shrugged. "I'm tired of him acting innocent." "Innocent?" Jay hissed. "You know what actually happened." Fans nearby froze, pretending they weren't listening. One girl had her phone recording from inside her popcorn bucket. Jay's wife crossed her arms. "Well, maybe if you didn't keep letting him disrespect you, someone had to say something." Jay's eyes nearly popped out of his skull. "You making me look stupid. You making us look stupid. You made yourself look stupid when you let him come to that dinner," she shot back. Jay looked like he was about to explode. "You better fix this, tonight." But she just leaned back, rolled her eyes, and sipped her drink like she was starring in her own reality show. Security escorted Jay back to the dugout before things got worse, but fans had already captured enough to feed the internet for weeks. At that exact moment, because karma loves drama, Drake's security team got word that someone from the Dodgers organization was planning to address the situation publicly, not to apologize, not to calm things down, but to defend the trolling. Drake's manager was livid. "Oh, we suing. We absolutely suing." But Drake stayed silent, thinking, calculating, plotting. Because what nobody knew yet was that Drake wasn't leaving the stadium to cool off. He was leaving to make a call that would involve a major media outlet, a call that would trigger an emergency meeting, a call that would change the entire narrative before the night was over. Because Drake wasn't going down as the stadium clowning victim. He was about to flip the script and expose something about Jay that would leave the Dodgers' entire organization scrambling. Drake walked briskly down the private hallway, his phone already ringing before he even reached the exit. His manager jogged beside him, whispering harshly under his breath, "Bro, please tell me you're not doing what I think you're doing." Drake didn't answer. He pressed his phone to his ear, jaw tight. On the other end, a familiar voice answered. A media powerhouse, the kind of voice that can flip a narrative in under 20 minutes. "What happened?" the voice asked calmly. Drake inhaled. "They're trying to play with my name, trolling me on the Jumbotron, playing that leak, and now Jay's wife talking nonsense online." There was a long pause. "All right," the voice finally said. "What do you want?" Drake's eyes narrowed. "I want the truth out, all of it." "You sure?" the voice asked. "The real truth? Because once this hits news, you can't take it back." Drake stopped walking. He looked back toward the stadium tunnel, the muffled roar of the crowd still echoing through the concrete walls. He nodded to no one in particular. "Yeah," he said. "Drop everything." The call ended. His manager covered his face. bro. You just declared war. Meanwhile, upstairs, the Dodgers organization was having its own meltdown. Jay was pacing in the dugout like a man who lost the remote and the house keys at the same time. His teammates watched him silently. One finally asked, "You think he's gonna expose it?" Jay froze. Another added, "If Drake speaks on it, it's over. You know that, right?" Jay sank onto the bench, elbows on knees, palms pressed against his forehead. "I told her," he muttered. "I told her never to post anything. I told her stop picking fights for attention." His teammates exchanged looks, some sympathetic, some amused. But then, in the middle of Jay's meltdown, 3 stadium officials walked into the dugout. They pulled Jay aside. "Jay," one said, voice low, "we need to talk. It's bad." Jay blinked. "What now?" The official handed over a phone. Jay scrolled and froze because a major media outlet had just posted this. Developing story, source claims, Dodgers player. Jay had secret feud with Drake months before stadium incident. The comments were vicious. Jay jealous of Drake confirmed? Oh, so Jay been insecure about his wife's DMs. Not him starting a troll war he can't finish. The players nearby began whispering. One said, "Bro, this gonna get ugly fast." Another added, "You better call your wife. She got y'all trending for the wrong reasons." But Jay wasn't listening. His face had drained of all color. He looked like someone had just unplugged him from reality. He whispered, "How did this get out? Who told them?" The officials shared uneasy glances. "We think Drake just made a call." Jay's eyes widened. "He wouldn't." "He would," the official said. And he did. The game continued on the field, but the energy shifted dramatically. Fans were more focused on their phones than the score. People were shouting updates across sections like it was election night. "Drake responding." "Jay is trending, Upraja won." "Oh my God, this is wild." Even the announcers seemed distracted. One whispered on a hot mic, "This is probably the most entertaining thing happening in baseball this year." But the real explosion happened when Drake finally exited the stadium. Cameras lined up outside the VIP gate. Reporters waited like wolves. Drake stepped out, calm, almost serene, but everyone could feel the tension vibrating off him like heat. One reporter shoved a mic forward. "Drake, are the rumors true? Did you and Jay have problems before tonight?" Another yelled, "Do you plan to address the DM's accusations?" Another, "Are you going to sue the Dodgers?" Drake paused. He turned to the cameras and smiled. But it wasn't a friendly smile. It was a smile that said, "I know something you don't." He stepped closer to the press, adjusted his jacket, and said, "I didn't start anything tonight, but I'm gonna finish it." The crowd erupted with shouts, but Drake wasn't done. He continued, "And for the record, if I wanted someone's wife, I'd have her. I don't need to DM nobody." Everyone screamed. Reporters gasped. Fans fainted metaphorically, and maybe one literally. Drake stepped into the SUV. The door closed, and the car pulled off, leaving behind a parking lot full of unhinged media chaos. Inside the vehicle, Drake's manager turned to him. Bro, you just lit a nuke under his marriage." Drake stared out the window. "He shouldn't have played with me." Meanwhile, back inside the stadium, the Dodgers were panicking. Multiple staffers rushed to Jay, phones in hand, showing Drake's statement. When Jay read the line, "If I wanted someone's wife, I'd have her," he stood up so fast the bench shook. Oh, hell no. His teammates tried to calm him. "Bro, relax. He baiting you. Don't play into it." But Jay wasn't listening. He grabbed his equipment bag and stormed toward the exit tunnel. Security tried to stop him. "Sir, the game isn't—" "Move!" Jay barked. He marched up the stairs into the VIP level where his wife was still sitting, scrolling through the chaos she helped unleash. The moment she saw him, she stood. "You saw the video?" she asked nervously. Jay's voice was low, shaking with anger. "Why did you post that? Why?" She held up her hands. "I was defending you." "No," Jay snapped. "You were defending your ego." Fans around them froze, pretending to mind their business, but several phones were definitely recording. Jay continued, voice cracking slightly. "You turned a stupid troll into a scandal. You made it look like something happened that didn't happen." She frowned, defensive. "People been gossiping about that dinner for months. I was tired of the whispers." "You made the whispers," he shot back. "You started all that because you felt embarrassed that he didn't compliment your dress like you wanted." She gasped. "Jay, don't say that in public." "Oh, now you care about public?" he yelled. The entire section went silent. She grabbed his arm. "We'll talk later." But Jay pulled away. "No, we talk now. You're the reason this is happening, not me, you." She froze. The color drained from her face. Fans watching didn't blink. It was reality TV in real time. Then suddenly, one of the Dodgers officials ran up, panting. "Jay, we have a bigger problem." Jay turned. "What now?" The official handed him a phone. Jay's face twisted in horror as he read the headline. "Breaking, audio leaks, Dodgers player heard mocking Drake months before incident." The article claimed someone from inside the team leaked a recording of Jay joking about Drake's lyrics, his son, even his outfits. Jay stammered, This is fake. I don't." But his wife's voice, small and horrified, croaked, "Jay, I remember that night. You did say those things." Jay spun toward her. "Why would you say that out loud?" She clapped a hand over her mouth. "Oh my God, I didn't mean." But it was too late. Fans around them gasped. Security whispered to each other. Cameras zoomed in. And in that moment, Jay realized something devastating. Not only was he losing the public, he was losing the locker room. Because now everyone looked guilty. Everyone looked messy. Everyone looked like they'd been targeting Drake for months. The official leaned in. "Jay, the GM wants you in the office now." Jay's chest tightened. "Am I suspended?" "We don't know yet," the official said grimly. "But you need to see this." He handed Jay another phone. This one showed Drake's Instagram. A black screen, white text. It said, "Let's tell the full story." And under it, he posted a countdown timer. 30 minutes. Fans screamed. Reporters scrambled. The internet detonated. Because whatever Drake was about to drop was going to end someone's career tonight. And just like that, the entire city of Los Angeles found itself glued to their screens, waiting for Drake's countdown to hit 0 like it was a royal wedding, a boxing match, and a nuclear threat all rolled into one. Fans were pacing their living rooms. Jay's teammates were in the locker room arguing about whether they should check on him or stay far away. Even the Dodgers front office was reportedly scrambling, calling emergency PR meetings, drafting statements, and trying to figure out which version of the truth was the least damaging. But the biggest question floating in the air, louder than the stadium crowd, louder than the music that started this whole mess, louder than Drake's own icy smile, was this: what exactly was Drake planning to drop? Was it a statement, a video, receipts, screenshots, audio, a diss track, a whole documentary? Nobody knew, and that made the suspense even worse. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, and the entire baseball community was left divided. Some people blamed Jay for starting the drama months ago. Others blamed his wife for pouring gasoline on the fire. and some were convinced Drake masterminded the entire thing as promo for his next album. No matter who you believe, one thing is clear: this drama is far from over. Because what Drake threatened to reveal has the power to embarrass a franchise, ruin a marriage, and expose secrets that were never supposed to leave those private dinners months ago. And until he speaks, everyone involved is stuck holding their breath. So now I gotta ask you, what do you think Drake is about to drop? Is Jay finished? Did his wife cross the line? Or is everybody overreacting to the troll heard around the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss part 2. Because trust me, when that countdown hits 0, it's gonna get even crazier.